Nordson Corporation is proud to continue to invest in educational opportunities through our sponsorship of Academic Challenge. Nordson is a global leader in precision technology solutions with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. To date, Nordson and the Nordson Corporation Foundation have donated nearly $173 million to charities, awarded $7.5 million in scholarships, and our employees have logged more than 117,000 volunteer hours. Thank you for watching Academic Challenge. Best of luck to all the participants.
All right, let's do it. This week, teams from
Jackson!
Vermilion! WRA!
Take the challenge on the Nordson Academic Challenge. Oh, let's get it going. We welcome you to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Rob Powers. We're so glad you're with us this morning. For the next 30 minutes, these three teams will be tested on their knowledge of subjects like math, science, history, a few other topics as well. So one more time, let's hear it for our teams from Jackson, Vermilion, and Western Reserve Academy. Today's winner will be the team with the highest point total at the end of our 5 rounds. And this is it. After today, 60 area high school teams will have competed. So that means next week, we play the Nordson Academic Challenge 57th season championship game. The schools playing today are trying to knock off one of these 3 top teams. If any of them do, we'll see that school right back here next week for a chance to share in $20,000 in grant money from Nordson. All right, let's start where we start every Saturday morning. This is the lightning round. In this round, all 3 teams compete. We award 20 points for a correct answer. You will lose 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. Let's start every team with 100 points. Those are for free. The rest you earn. All set? Answers here are about bugs, insects, and all kinds of creepy, crawly creatures. Got it? Here we go. This NBA team is based in Charlotte, Vermilion.
Hornet.
That is correct. This insect is described as preying. Vermilion.
Mantis.
That is correct. She wrote, "In the time of the butterflies." Answer is Julia Alvarez. These insects build huge mounds in Africa. Vermilion.
Termites.
That is correct. All insects have this number legs. Vermilion.
6.
That is correct. Composer Rimsky-Korsakov wrote The Flight of Vermilion.
Bumblebee.
That is correct. This is the phylum to which insects, spiders, and crustaceans belong. Western Reserve.
Arthropoda.
That is correct. The story of Pinocchio features this insect named Jiminy. Jackson.
Cricket.
That is correct. Kato is the sidekick of this superhero. Vermilion. Sorry, Green Hornet is the answer there. Our final lightning round question today comes from the president of the West Shore campus of Cuyahoga Community College. Here is Dr. Scott Latchley.
Technological advancement is not the only thing that's a step-by-step process. This is a development stage between egg and pupa.
Jackson.
Larvae.
Larva is correct. Way to go. And that's the end of our round. Oh, we're going to need more questions. We're back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this. Oh, we've got a good one. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. If you'd like information on any of the schools that appeared this season, scan that QR code you see on the upper right-hand corner of the screen with your cell phone. That code takes you to the News5Cleveland.com Academic Challenge page. We have links for all of our season schools' websites right there for you. Okay, time for us now to play Hot Picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Before we get to the questions, let's meet our teams. Let's meet our players. Let's start with Edward, the captain from Jackson.
Hi, I'm Edward. I'm a senior at Jackson, and I'm the vice president of my school's computer science club.
Good for you. Welcome this morning. And that gets us to Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm a junior at Jackson, and this is the main thing I do.
Good for you. It's the main thing I do, too. We have that in common. Josh, you are up.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm also a senior at Jackson. This is my 7th year doing Academic Challenge, and I'm going to be going to UCF in the fall for computer science.
Really? Good for you. 7 years doing this?
Yeah, since
My goodness. Nice to see you. All 3 of you. Nice to see you. For your questions, Jackson, Stephen from Vermilion. 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Take 4.
You got it. All right, Jackson, these questions are all for you. All set? Here we go. Most national parks are named for geologic features, including the California National Park, with what S initial named referring to its giant redwood trees?
Sequoia.
That is correct. In 1668, William Penn's Quaker beliefs led to his imprisonment in what same tower where Anne Boleyn had been executed?
Tower of London.
That is correct. Officially called a pink meanie, a giant jellyfish that eats other jellyfish, can be seen in what sea where you find the islands of Aruba and Antigua?
Caribbean.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these terms refers to a structure bound by a membrane that contains chlorophyll and is found in the cytoplasm of green plants?
Chloroplast.
That is correct. According to Greek mythology, the thread of life was spun, measured, and finally cut by three deities commonly known by what collective name?
The Fates.
That is correct. Something in the Blood is the appropriate title of a biography of what author of Dracula?
Steinbeck.
Bram Stoker is the answer there. No worries. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Giving your answer as a positive integer, evaluate this expression if C equals 3 and D equals 4. Answer?
96.
100, sorry. When you eat a peanut butter sandwich, you might think about what African-American scientist who found new uses for peanuts in his work at Tuskegee Institute. Answer?
Cleveland Grover.
George Washington Carver is the answer there. Hey, Jackson, nice round. All right, that gets us to our second team from Vermilion. Stephen, you are the captain. We start with you. Welcome this morning. Tell us about yourself.
Hey, I'm Stephen. I'm a senior at Vermilion, and I'm going to be going to Bowling Green State University in the fall to study broadcast.
Falcon in the house. They had a nice broadcasting program there. Good for you. Hi, Abby.
Hi, I'm also a senior at Vermilion, and I'm going to be going to Hiram in the fall for P through 5 education and teaching licensure.
Good for you. That's fantastic. All right, James, we wrap up with you.
Hi, I'm a senior at Vermilion as well, and I'm going to OSU for computer engineering. And I'd like to thank my dad for being here.
There you go. We thank him too, and we thank you for being here. For your questions, Vermilion, we go to Lillian, the Western Reserve captain, 1, 2, or 3?
3.
You got it. All right, Vermilion, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. With the words, "You are banished from our jurisdiction," the Massachusetts Bay Colony in 1637 expelled what woman who then helped found Rhode Island?
Putnam.
Anne Hutchison is the answer there. There's a red spot that's about 25,000 miles wide on the surface of what planet whose orbit is 5th from the sun?
Jupiter.
That is correct. Though he supported the French Revolution, what French nobleman who had come to the aid of the American colonies was jailed by radicals and spent 5 years in prison?
Lafayette.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these terms refers to structures in the cytoplasm where energy-releasing reactions appear to occur?
Mitochondria.
That is correct. You use the letter P how many times when you spell the word hippopotamus?
Three.
3 is correct. Poet William Wordsworth wrote that he cheered up when he saw a field of what yellow spring flowers similar to jonquils?
Daffodils.
That is correct. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. What positive value of x will satisfy this equation?
4.
That is correct. The use of plywood for prefabricated housing was pioneered by what same Swedish philanthropist who had developed dynamite?
Seaborg.
Alfred Nobel, sorry. Nice round, Vermilion. Good job. Okay. And that gets us to Western Reserve Academy. Lillian, welcome back. Great to see you.
Hi, I'm Lillian. I'm a senior at Western Reserve Academy, and I play trumpet in our jazz band.
Welcome this morning. Govey, you are up.
Hi, I'm Govey. I'm a junior at WRA, and I edit for the school newspaper.
Welcome this morning, and we wrap things up with Anna.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a sophomore, and I captain the Science Olympiad team.
Good for you. Good for all 9 of you. Thank you so much for being here. It's our pleasure to have you. For your questions, Western Reserve, we come back to Edward. Jackson's captain, 1 or 2?
2.
You got it. All right, Western Reserve, all for you. Here we go. In 1945, the UN Charter was signed in what American city across the country from its current New York headquarters?
San Francisco.
That is correct. One of the 200 men who accompanied Columbus on his second voyage was Ponce de Leon, who built the first European settlement on what island where San Juan is now the capital?
Puerto Rico.
That is correct. What ancient Norse god of thunder drowned in a sea of venom after he killed an evil serpent with his magic hammer?
Thor.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these terms refers to a warm ocean surge and is an important factor in global weather?
El Nino.
That is correct. In 1759, it was planned that the British would take Quebec after they beat the French on what Canadian plains with a biblical name?
The Plains of Abraham.
That is correct. People with a taste for poetry often enjoy what type of Japanese verse form consisting of just 17 syllables arranged in 3 lines?
Haiku.
That is correct. Back to the monitor for your math question. What missing coefficient of the middle term will make this trinomial a perfect square?
26.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. A biographical dictionary of journalists had what one-word title that can identify both a hot news story and a cold sphere of ice cream?
Scoop.
Scoop is correct for the bonus points. There you go. Oh, my gosh. We're off and running. We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this.
I'm experts.
Well, look who's here. Our judge, courtesy of our partners at Cuyahoga Community College, instructional specialist Michael Landstrom. Mr. Landstrom is back for the 7th time this season. Great to see you, sir. Thanks so much for hanging with us again. Before we move on, we're going to take a look at our scores as where they sit right now. We're in a really good game here. Third place, 240 points, Jackson. Second place, 300 points, Vermilion. Leading the way with 305 points, Western Reserve Academy. Okay, picture perfect time here. 8 questions this round, each with a picture or a graphic that has to do with that question. A correct answer here worth 20 points, but for a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. Again, for all 3 teams, so hands on the buzzers, eyes on the monitor. Set, here we go. One of French composer Jacques Offenbach's nearly 100 musical works was adopted as its official hymn by what branch of the American Armed Forces whose motto is Semper Fidelis? Jackson.
Marines.
That is correct. This flag flies over what? Vermilion.
Portugal.
One more time.
Portugal.
That is correct. The United States bought the Virgin Islands in order to protect what man-made waterway built between Jackson?
Panama Canal.
That is correct. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer. Jackson.
2.
That is correct. This Mondrian painting has what same one-word name as the title of a science fiction novel by Frank Herbert? Western Reserve?
Dune.
That is correct. A sailor in the Pacific Ocean could use these coordinates to locate what island, now belonging to Chile, that features Vermilion?
Easter Island.
That is correct. This is the dining hall on what New York island that was the country's leading Vermilion?
Ellis Island.
That is correct. Included on the cover of this issue of Cleveland Magazine, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame building was designed by which famous Chinese-American architect, also known for the East Building of D.C.'s National Gallery? Answer? The architect was I.M. Pei. That's the end of our round. We are rolling. Our exciting grab bag run to determine today's winner. That's coming up after, of course, we mix it up.
Morgan.
Welcome back to the Northern Academic Challenge. Let's say hello to this morning's advisors from Jackson. It's Stephen Robinson. From Vermilion, Rebecca Dover and Jason Bosch are here. And from Western Reserve Academy, Jeffrey Namiatka. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for getting the kids here and getting them ready for a big game. All right, time now for us to mix it up. I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here worth 20 points, no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Jackson, you're batting leadoff. All set? Here we go. You won't need to worry about termites if you find hidden in this phrase what last name of the 19th century British medical scientist known as a pioneer in antiseptic surgery?
Lister.
That is correct. What same word fits both of these definitions? Answer?
February.
March. This date saw the launching of a new naval hero when Oliver Hazard Perry defeated the British in a battle on which of the Great Lakes?
Superior?
Lake Erie. Combine the symbols for these four elements to get what word? The shortened version for the name of a large mammal.
Rhino?
That is correct. In 1991, the Canadian government announced that more than 750,000 square miles of territory would become an indigenous or Inuit region with what name?
Manitoba?
Nunavut is the name there. These were the words of which of our founding fathers who printed his opinions in Poor Richard's Almanac?
Benjamin Franklin?
That is correct. Nice round, Jackson. Here we go. Vermilion, your turn. Ready to roll? Here we go. See if you can find in this artistic phrase the term for detecting underwater objects using sound waves or echolocation.
Sonar.
That is correct, and there it is. What same word will fit both of these definitions? Answer?
Pumpkin.
Coach. This date marked one of the great bargains of all time when the U.S. made what major land purchase from Russia?
Alaskan Purchase?
Alaska is correct, yes. By combining the chemical symbols for these elements, you can name what large marine mammal with long tusks?
Walrus.
That is correct, and there it is. Which of these flowery names identifies the Indian princess who befriended Peter Pan in Never Never Land?
Tiger lily?
That is correct. This view of civil unrest was expressed by what American minister whose I Have a Dream speech was heard by millions in 1963?
Martin Luther King Jr.
That is correct. Nice round, Vermilion. Okay, we are moving along. Western Reserve Academy, you are up. Ready to roll? Here we go. You can decorate your score with 20 points if you find here what word naming the luminous ring around the sun.
Corona.
That is correct, and there it is. What same word will satisfy both of these definitions?
Pool.
That is correct. Thinking it a good excuse for a picnic, many people turned out on this date to watch what Virginia battle, the first major land battle of the Civil War?
The First Battle of Bull Run.
That is correct. Combine the chemical symbols for these elements to name what freshwater fish that poses a threat to the ecology of the Great Lakes.
Carp.
That is correct. Islands differ enormously in size. Which of these is the smallest?
Bora Bora.
That is correct. That was big. This is for the bonus points. John F. Kennedy repeated this remark in 1961 after the failed U.S. invasion at what Cuban bay?
Bay of Pigs.
Bay of Pigs is correct for the bonus points. Oh, boy. Okay. That's the end of that round. We're back with our final deciding grab bag round. It's all coming up after this.
Crohn's disease.
The biggest round of the morning starts now. Let's take a look at our scores. With 360 points, Jackson. With 460 points, Vermilion. 470 points, Western Reserve Academy. But hold on. Time now for our final deciding grab bag round. In this round, I ask as many questions as time allows. A correct answer here worth 30 points, but a team will lose 30 points for a wrong or no answer. Okay, this is for all three teams. Hands on the buzzer, eyes on the monitor when we need it. All set? It all comes down to this. Let's go. Army regulations stipulate the U.S. flag fly at half-mast between noon to honor the dead and then be raised to full staff to honor living veterans on what federal holiday observed at the end of May? Western Reserve.
Memorial Day.
That is correct. Filmed in 1894 and still available online is a video called Boxing Cats, recorded by what American inventor known as the Wizard of Menlo Park? Answer? Jackson.
Edison.
That is correct. One of the finest examples of Gothic architecture is what Paris Cathedral? Vermilion.
Notre Dame.
That is correct. Here you see the Valley of the 10 Peaks, located in what Canadian national? Vermilion.
Banff.
Banff is correct. The phrase Middle Passage referred to part of the journey involving slaves, rum, and molasses in the trade named for a geometric, Jackson?
Triangular trade.
That is correct. Choice. Hydrogen is liberated when an active metal reacts with water. Is a salt, acid, or base formed? Answer is base. Poet Vachel Lindsay helped launch the career of what African-American poet who wrote the Weary Blues? Answer is Langston Hughes. Sometimes called the water snake, this constellation has what other name, referring to the mythical Greek monster that grew 2 new heads whenever one was Western Reserve?
Hydra.
That is correct. Readers eagerly lapped up the Hunger Games by what author? Western Reserve.
Suzanne Collins.
That is correct. How many kilograms are there in 5 million grams? Vermilion.
0.5.
5,000, sorry. Historians estimate that about 5,000 armed knights joined William the Conqueror at what historic battle? Vermilion.
Hastings.
That is correct. This is a proverb from what African country where Addis Ababa is the capital? Western Reserve.
Ethiopia.
That is correct. Kings and queens are at home on a chessboard, as are their castles, which also have Vermilion.
Rooks.
That is correct. You got it in at the buzzer. Let's go to the scoreboard. What a game this morning. In third place with 420 points, it's Jackson. In second place with 550 points, it's Vermilion. And winning today's academic challenge with 590 points, Western Reserve Academy. Holy cow. All right. That's it. 60 teams up, 57 teams down. Be sure to join us when this year's 3 highest scoring teams are back. 1 week from today, we crown a champion for season number 57. Thanks for watching this one. I'm Rob Powers. Study hard. We'll see you right back here next week for Championship Saturday.